Welcome to PNW Today podcast. Now here's your host.
It is November 13th, 2025, and you're listening to the PNW Today radio program streaming on WJOB, JED TV, and JED TV podcasts. Wherever you're tuning in from, we appreciate you joining us. My name is Cale Wilk. I serve as Communications Specialist in the Office of Marketing Communications at Purdue Northwest, and I'm looking forward to the couple of topics that we have in store for today. And like I say, it's always the cast that helps make the show, if anything. So to start us out, we're going to be talking about veteran services at PNW. And of course, just earlier this week, we celebrated and recognized Veterans Day. So, of course, to our folks that are here in the studio and the PNW community and listeners that are around in our communities and around the nation, we thank you for your service during this weekend and on Veterans Day. So joining us, we have to my immediate right, we have Anthony Pelota, who is our Director of Veteran Services or Veteran Service Coordinator at PNW. Anthony, thank you so much for being here early this morning.
It's great being here.
We have Ben Bobbin, who is a business management major with a concentration in entrepreneurship and obviously a minor in marketing. Is that correct? Okay, we got all of those. Make sure that we had those straight before we started the show. Ben, thank you very much for being here this morning as well.
Thank you.
And then we have, last but not least, Daniel Campos, who is a mechanical engineering student at PNW. And thank you for being here as well today, Daniel.
Thank you.
All right, let me just go ahead and run down just a few notes about events that are coming up at the university, as well as some recent news. So if you are a member of the PNW community, that's you're a student, a faculty member, staff member, if you're a proud alum of the institution, or you're just a wonderful supporter of Purdue Northwest, one of the great things that we were excited to announce this week is that there is a special group recognition license plate that is going to be offered through the Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles that will be a Purdue Northwest branded license plate. And so beginning in 2026, if you would like to help support PNW students, it's another way that you'll be able to do so. So you can renew with PNW. So again, starting in 2026, when you're registering or renewing your Indiana license plate, if you're an Indiana resident, consider registering for a PNW Special Group Recognition License Plate. It's about $40 extra to go ahead and register for the plate, but $25 of that directly goes to supporting PNW student scholarships. So if you want to learn more information, go to pnw.edu/license-plate. There are still a few tickets that are left for Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is going to be the finale for the 2020-25. I added some extra zeros and twos in there, my bad. Words are hard in the morning. The 2025 PNW Sinai Forum season. So if you wanted a chance to be able to catch adventures in science literacy with the famed astrophysicist himself, again, there's still a limited number of tickets that are available. That program is going to be on December 7th, starting at 4 p.m. It's going to be at the Stardust Event Center at Blue Chip Casino in Michigan City. Go to pnw.edu/Sinai-forum to go ahead and check out tickets. And of course, we always love to be able to shout out our friends in athletics. If you ever want to be able to see when you can have an opportunity to cheer on our athletics teams, go to pnwathletics.com to check out game schedules as well as tickets. Just like tonight, you can go ahead and support PNW men's ice hockey. The ACHA D1 team is going to be taking on University of Illinois at the Cube tonight at 7:30 p.m. Again, go to pnwathletics.com to find out all of your PNW athletics information. So if there's anybody that is just joining us and tuning in, we are starting our segment today talking about veteran services at PNW. And so joining us, we have a couple of our wonderful PNW students who are also service members, as well as our veteran services coordinator, also a veteran himself, of course. So I'm going to start this off teeing up Anthony Pelota to help give us a little bit of some context here. You help lead our Veteran Services Office at PNW, so give us a little bit of an overview about what you do to help serve students at the university.
Well, one of the main things, especially the office does, is we work as like the main point of contact for student veterans, especially those who are coming in. We work with them on getting the degrees, understanding veteran benefits, because a lot of times when veterans are coming out of the service, there's a lot of confusion on what benefits should be used, what they're eligible for, and stuff like that. And then also just building a tight-knit community of veterans, because what a lot of people don't understand is when you're in the military, you lose contact with all those back home, and then when you get out, you lose contact with the brothers that you served with. So you're you feel alone. So the Vet Center provides that space where you can come together and talk with other vets and build another brotherhood. And we just work to make sure that that college is right for them if they want to stay in college, and then make sure that they have all the things they need to be successful in college, whether that's working with disability services or working with academic support for tutoring or anything along those lines, and then making sure they're using the benefits to the best of their ability and what their educational goal is.
Absolutely. So, and just, thinking about with your trajectory to coming to Purdue Northwest, so you served and earned your degree then from Southern Illinois University and then transitioned to come work over here at PNW. So while you were going through your own experience, what helped inform what you wanted to be able to bring to this role at PNW and how you wanted to make a difference?
Well, I mean, there was a couple things at SIU that I definitely took and wanted to do here. Like, for instance, coming up on Friday, we have our Veterans Mess Night. We used to call it the Vets Ball, but it was a little too formal, so we call it Mess Night now. But just maintaining traditions from the military, but dropping the formality is one of the main things that we do, and then building that community support to where veterans feel comfortable talking to each other. There's not a lot of if there's one place on campus where veterans can feel comfortable talking like they did in the military, it's the Vet Center. And it's a very lively atmosphere. A lot of our vets love coming to there. I'm sure. I mean, they'll talk about it plenty, but it's a great room. I mean, we have a snack bar, so that might bring some of them in. But we just maintaining the brotherhood and then dropping a lot of the formality. No uniform inspections, no gear layouts or anything like that. Just having fun and being brothers. So, brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. And just as a quick question, so if anyone is interested in being able to visit your office spaces, where are you located at PNW?
So on the Hammond campus, we're in the Student Union Library on the 3rd floor. Nice and out of the way. We can talk how we want without anyone, without distracting people. SULB 335. And then at Westville, we are in DSAC 1002. That one's a freshly renovated area. It's very nice. Happy with that office as well. So,
excellent. Thank you. And Anthony, you touched a little bit on this, but give me an overview about the types of services that student veterans are able to take advantage of by visiting your office.
So there's a couple programs that we have that are kind of unique to us. Is that, like, for instance, because we're located right next to disabilities, the PNW Accessibility Center. We work directly with them to get veterans in there, because a lot of people don't understand. When you come out of the service, it's beaten in your head to focus on everything around you. So it's hard when they go to take a test to not pay attention to the clock ticking or the people walking in the back or doors opening, this, that, one, or the other. So we work directly with them to get veterans in so they could try to get some isolation room or something like that. The free one-on-one tutoring is another big thing. Navigating GI Bill benefits is a big one, because there's a lot of things that veterans don't understand they'll pay for, like national certification tests and stuff like that. And then, we do the community events and community service stuff. I know Ben here has been working with Leon's Triathlon a lot on some stuff. And just, there's a lot of stuff out there that we work with. And then career guidance a lot. Because a lot of times we'll have veterans who come into college thinking that college is what they want, and then I'll sit down and talk to them, and then maybe after a while we'll get the understanding that maybe it wasn't college, maybe they're looking for something else, or just making sure that they end up in the right place where they want to be. But the disability access is a big one. We work directly with the dean of students for like military absence and stuff like that, which is great. So like if you're a reservist and you get called up on training orders or something like that, we work with the dean of students office to make sure you can work with your professors, get incompletes or get extended final times or something like that. That's the main gist of it, and then just building a comfortable atmosphere.
Absolutely. And because I'd love to be able to shout out website URLs every so often, pnw.edu/veteran-services is the website landing page, where if anyone is interested in finding out more information, there's a whole host of resources that you can go ahead and dive into at your leisure. So thank you very much, Anthony, for being able to give a little bit of an overview there about the surface level for what the Office of Veteran Services at PNW helps provide for this particular population of students. Turning over to our student guests, Ben and Daniel, tell us a little bit about, there we go, got that thumbs up. Tell us a little bit about your story and how you came to the Purdue Northwest community. Ben, how about let's start with you?
Yeah, so when I first got out of the military, I just wanted to go straight into work. I didn't want to go to college whatsoever. That's why one of the reasons why I joined the military is because I didn't want to go to college. And so I was just thinking I want to become an electrician. I went to Ivy Tech to do that stuff. When I was at Ivy Tech, I really enjoyed the math, and I really enjoyed learning something new that I could progress into a career. And so I was like, well, I want something bigger. I want something, I don't want to say better, but I want something bigger, more like a 4-year, you know. And so I went to a different college in the area and just walked around a little bit, and I felt like I was in high school. And then I came to PNW, walked around, I enjoyed the atmosphere that was on campus, and then I found the vet center. And when I walked in there, it was just, there was like 5 other veterans in there. They were all studying together. They were on the computers together, and they were just, you know, messing around, but also being serious, you know, studying for, I believe it was like a physics exam or something like that. And I just loved it. I was accepted the way that I would have felt accepted if I was still in the military. I was made fun of, which is awesome. I loved it. And then I was also greeted with like open arms too. And so I had all these questions, and Anthony wasn't there at the time, but these students were able to point me in the right direction to the correct context to help me, you know, get into PNW. And then, I went for it. And that's just being invited through the vet center and showing me what I needed to do from the veteran students there, just told me where I needed to be.
Absolutely. And how did you come to decide to pursue your major with business management, concentration on entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I really loved business, and I always had a yearning for owning my own business, and so going into making that decision to become a business management entrepreneurial major, I actually originally was a marketing major. And I was like, well, I don't want to get a business management degree because I feel like this is so broad. You know, I'm not going to be able to find a job that's structured around just business management. And then I was also thinking, I was like, well, I don't want to also constrain myself to only marketing, right? Because now, say if I wanted to become a director of marketing, I need to have that management, that leadership quality and capability, you know. And so I was like, well, I think that leadership is more important. So I went the business management entrepreneurial route, and then added the minor in marketing.
Excellent. And exactly, just based on the information that we shared, you know, you're kind of trying to become like a bit of a jack of all trades with all those different skills.
Bit, yeah.
And so, what are your goals then for what you want to do for owning a business?
Yeah, so right now I'm actually trying to start one. We're working with PNW. I'm not going to go much detail into it right now, but yeah, I have a couple friends and we're trying to start a business right now, and it's fun, it's hard, it's difficult, but yeah.
It's in the conceptual stage. All right.
Yes.
So we'll keep a lid on that one for now. So,
yeah.
Daniel, how about for you? Tell us about your story for coming to Purdue Northwest.
Sure thing. Well, I got out of active duty service, and I went in knowing that at one point I would like to go to college. So, got out. My dad actually is a police officer here at PNW, and when I told him I wanted to go, and I was still shopping around, no idea what to do benefits-wise or anything, he took me to Anthony's office and the vet center, and immediately walking in there as, you know, fresh, new, out of the military, civilian, it just felt really comfortable, really familiar. And just that feeling is not a feeling that is easily recreated, I'd say. Anthony helped me. I knew nothing about college, nothing about my benefits. So he walked me through everything, and it's been a great help there.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did you come to decide on mechanical engineering as your area of study?
Well, when I got out and I knew that I'd have benefits to basically get a paid-for degree, I knew I didn't want to do anything easy. I'm still not 100% sure on it, but it seems challenging enough. So I think I'm going to stick with it.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's a pretty solid answer, though. We have a very rigorous school of engineering, so the challenge is there for sure. So as both of you have progressed in your academic careers, and thank you again for the great comments that you're able to share about the community and the sense of belonging that you've been able to find with the Office of Veteran Services. We were talking a little bit before we got on the air here, but I wanted to be able to open it up to say, what are some of those frequently asked questions or common challenges that might happen for student veterans that together, in the office or even just in one-on-one sessions that you're able to overcome or to solve together. So I'll open it up to anyone who'd like to answer that.
Well, I think one of the initial problems that veterans face, especially when they're coming out, especially if they're going to college, is understanding the benefits, because they come from an atmosphere where anything, that sounds bad, but anything federal sounds difficult. So they come in and they think that applying for VA benefits or getting all that set up is completely difficult. I walk them through it, let them know that it's actually probably one of the easiest things you'll ever do with the federal government, but it's super simple, and then just laying it out for them, like, depending on where their educational goals are they trying to go for a master's, are they trying to just do an undergrad and get out, or whatever they're trying to do, figuring out what the best benefits are for that, because you can save some or use different benefits for this, that, one, and the other. If you're going to use voc rehab, understanding what voc rehab is. If they don't have a disability rating, I work with them to work on getting a disability rating set up. I think I've helped Ben with that, and which was one of the big ones, is getting that stuff set up. But yeah, that's about all I got. I'll let you guys.
I think it's just understanding the benefits that we have. I don't think veterans realistically understand the amount of benefits that we have and how to utilize them the correct way, and that's what Anthony does amazingly. I think, like, when you get out, when I was in the Army, so we went through SFL TAP, and going through SFL TAP, you're told about all of your benefits, but you're thrown like a billion things at you. You know what I mean? And so you're like, you don't understand really what you have available to you, what the different routes you can take. Like, there's VRNE, you can use post 9/11, you can do VRNE for not only school but for trade school too, and so there's just like coming into the vet center and talking with Anthony, or just talking with veterans that are already in that chapter of their life, just really helps you understand what benefits there are and how to utilize them and how they line up with what you want to do, what your goals are. And so I think that's what a really big, like, frequently asked question is like, what benefits do I have? So
exactly.
I think I'd have to basically agree with almost everything Ben said. That's we all kind of have a little bit of the same viewpoint. There's just the plethora of benefits that we just have that I still probably have no idea about. It's with Anthony as a guide and PNW kind of helping facilitate just the process. It's very seamless. For the general benefit, Chapter 31, the GI Bill, every month I get a text that says, "Are you enrolled? Yes or no?"
Yeah. It's that simple. It's that simple.
That's simple.
Got it. Well, thank you very much for being able to share a little bit about that. And really the theme that I'm gathering here is that this educational journey is attainable. There's a little bit of some information gathering that does have to happen, but you have a support system that's going to be able to help you get there every single step of the way. Again, pnw.edu/veteran-services, or send an email to Anthony. He'll be able to answer the questions. We're just singing your praises here. So, because while we have a lot of fun on the PNW Today program, I know that our minutes are ticking down here. So one of the things I did want to make sure that we had an opportunity to talk about was the Collegiate Purple Star recognition that Purdue Northwest received back during the summer. So Anthony, tell us a little bit about that.
So the Collegiate Purple Star is a new initiative from the state. Basically, people out there have probably heard of Military Friendly or Best for Vets or any of these other surveys that are typically done by for-profit magazines or something along that line. The state wanted to develop their own basically military-friendly survey that was going to be administered by the state, and then they determined the best schools within the state around it. Luckily enough, the three major 4 years within the Purdue system, there was only 6 that got Tier 1. It was Purdue Fort Wayne, Purdue Northwest, and Purdue West Lafayette, and then there was a couple 3 Ivy Tech campuses that got it. Just a note, it's not a system-wide thing, it's per campus, so we won that merit just by what we have here at PNW, which we strive to do the best. And I think once we got it, I actually said, I was like, it's my goal within 5 years for us to get a special designation for it. Tier 1 basically means we are one of the best in the state for veteran services. And then what that really entails is they ask, what student support services you have, if you have any, specific financial things for veterans that you guys offer other than other schools, whether you have a vet center. We have one of the bigger vet centers, I'd say, in the state.
We have the best in the state. We have the best in the state.
So, we also have 2. So
yeah, exactly.
But taking care of your vets, we have the virtual vet center too now, to where we don't only have in-person vet centers, but we have an entire virtual one that's on our Brightspace where we disseminate information and let them know about everything going on, job opportunities, or any program that they might be interested in. Like, I think we had and her name's Angelica, but we call her Angel. We had Angel on, and she was part of that women's fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
That was posted on the D2L course. Or we have jobs in gaming forums that they do, stuff like that. So we have the formal one, and then we have an informal Discord server that the veterans love to be on. Honestly, it's just setting us apart from the state by all of what we offer, and the fact that PNW is actually putting an effort forward to help student veterans compared to other campuses who maybe don't think about veterans as much, but PNW puts a full focus on making sure that our veterans are taken care of.
Absolutely. And again, exactly. I would just agree and echo with your sentiments. It's wonderful what your team and your office is doing to be able to help this particular population of the PNW student body to be able to help excel, thrive, and ultimately achieve their educational and career goals. And speaking of achieving education goals, I like to think too, when commencement comes around and there's typically as a part of the ceremony an opportunity to be able to recognize the veterans, not only of the candidates that are graduating, but also in the audience. And usually for our student veterans, they are recognized by gold stoles that have the emblems of the military branches as well. So tell us a little bit about that, what they can look forward to with commencement too.
So out of our office, we actually offer 2 stoles in 1 cord. So there's the student veteran stole, which is a nice gold stole, has this seals of the branches, and then it says veteran on it. That's a really nice one. And then the chancellor typically recognizes the veteran, asks them to stand. And then we also, for our veteran dependents, whether that be children or spouses, they get a red, white, and blue cord that they get to wear at graduation. And then another thing that we recognize is a lot of veterans, they're not traditional students. So typically when they're coming to PNW, they're married, have kids, something going on. So we also have student parent stoles. So because we understand that it's a big struggle to not only be a student but also be a parent at the same time. So we have student parent stoles for student parents out there that are graduating. And I think the veterans enjoy the recognition, especially just because they're not traditional. Like, they deal with real, not to say that traditional students don't deal with real world struggles, but a lot of student veterans are coming from the real world and they have real world struggles, whether that be marriage, kids, or they've actually done their taxes before. They understand, and for the most part, when they file, they're an individual. So everything they're doing on their own. They're living on their own. They're doing whatever they're doing by themselves. They're not directly from high school. They've lived the real world, and they're also focusing on that struggle. Because I'm sorry, I'm going on a spiel, but a lot of the big struggle is like when veterans transition out of the military, like I said, they lose that brother and sisterhood. So they feel alone a lot, and people don't truly understand that struggle. So when they get to college, it's hard for them to stay in because it's hard for them to feel that acceptance or to feel like a part of that brotherhood, and a lot of times they'll fade. And they'll also, the great thing about veterans though is that they have great time management. They do sometimes get a little complacent, like in their junior year. They'll start to get complacent because they'll get used to the schedule of college. Because when you come out of the military, you're like, I only have to go to class for like 3 hours in a day. Like, what? And I'm getting paid for this? And then, by their junior year, they're like, oh, I have one class today. Do I even go to campus? So trying to keep them on that and just making sure they get to graduation. So once they actually cross that stage, to make it something important to them, and something that, in the military, we have shadow boxes for everything. So like, just having a stole that they could, put in a shadow box or, show, what they did. And then we also have the student veteran graduate coins. So when you're also a student veteran and you graduate, you get a challenge coin, which is like a military tradition thing. It says student veteran graduate, has the seals on it and everything. That's big importance too. It's funny, every time we put those on the table for like a resource fair, they're like, can I get one of those? And I'm like, you got to join the military and then come back here and graduate, and then you can get one of those. So, but, and I appreciate the chancellor that he actually acknowledges the student vets, especially this year where he sent out an email actually recognizing the student veterans on campus and recognizing the 250th birthday for a lot of the branches.
Absolutely. Thank you for being able to share a lot of that information. I appreciate it. So we're going to be wrapping up this segment here in just a short sec. So to round us out, Ben and Daniel, whether it's students that are here at PNW or others that are in the community, and whether they have served or they're reservists, what do you like to be able to tell them and to encourage them to consider coming to PNW?
Yeah, so I always encourage veterans that I meet either through church or through wherever I'm at to always just stop in at the PNW Vet Center. If you don't want to go to college, I don't care. Just at least stop in. Learn about the benefits, because that's what Anthony does amazingly. Learn about your benefits and see how these things add up with your goals in life. Because if you never know, college could be that goal. College could be that stepping stone, that extra step that you need to take to get somewhere in life. Or just honestly help veterans stay off the streets too. I know a veteran right now that could possibly not pay his rent next month, and that's because he just got out of the military, but he's also not doing anything. So I told him to come into Vet Center, learn about your benefits, get into school. If that's a last case, you can always leave school and go do something else, and you can come back if you want. So that's my 2 cents.
Absolutely.
I just say I'm current active reservist, so I drill every month, and I used to drill over here in Hobart. Now I'm up in Arlington Heights, but all that I ever do is sing the praises of Purdue or PNW and how just helpful they have been through Anthony helping me through just guide everything. And then as a reservist, I still have to go and drill, and sometimes I'll interfere with classes, and they work with us so much. I get my time that I need if I need to make up quizzes, tests, homework. So just the accommodations, I can't imagine going anywhere else because I'd be afraid that it's not this good.
All right.
If I could just say one.
Sure.
One of the things like Ben brought up is that like a lot of times with our vet center, you don't have to be a PNW student veteran. If you just want to hang out with a lot of veterans, we will accept you at the vet center.
Yeah.
We have plenty of younger vets because they feel like they don't fit in when they go to the American Legion, the VFW, which I understand. So they'll come up to our vet center because it's a younger audience. It's a more post 9/11 audience, and we accept them and we bring them in, have good times with them, or we'll go do events or whatever together. So you don't have to be going to PNW to come up to our vet center. You can come up there and then just enjoy the good time, and then we might hint towards you maybe coming to college. but you don't have to be. And like we're only there to help you through whatever transition, or if you're looking for that group of people to hang out with, so that way you don't feel alone, especially when you leave. So
absolutely. Well, this has been a really great conversation. I wish that we had more time because between all three of you, you've had great information that you've been able to share. I'm very happy that you're a part of our PNW community, and we'll continue to help you excel along the way as you progress in your education journeys. Anthony and I both, right? You more so, obviously. But anyway, pnw.edu/veteran-services. That's the place to go to find more information. We're going to go ahead and do a quick switcheroo with our guests. Thank you to our first guest to join us to talk about veteran services. We're going to transition to talk about Giving Tuesday next, so stick around. We'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, welcome back to the PNW Today program. Again, streaming on WJOB, JED TV, and JED TV podcasts. It's November 13th, 2025. Wherever you're joining us from, we appreciate you taking the time to listen in. Again, I'm Kayla Wilk. I'm a communications specialist in the Office of Marketing and Communications. And for our next segment on this Thursday, we are going to be talking about Giving Tuesday. And that's going to be coming up on December 2nd. So be sure to mark your calendars down. Take notes. We got some important information to share on this one. So joining to help share more information about this, we got Tracy McElry, who I like to finally say is my office neighbor in institutional advancement with donor and development operations. Tracy, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
We have Molly Bowler, who does a little bit of everything, right, as a lot of our students are. So you're a fourth-year psychology student, Student Government Association president, and president of the PNW Food Pantry Committee. Are there any other ones that we should make sure to highlight here? Obviously, Honors College, too. So.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm also part of Honors College, which I'm very proud of. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I'm also a food pantry assistant in the pantry, so I also work in there too. So I'm very hands-on on all sides of the pantry.
Excellent. Well, and all to say, thank you very much for being here this morning. We appreciate it. And Sal Cordova, our Assistant Director for Student Life. Sal, thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here.
And all of these folks, they're not strangers to the PNW Today program. This is the second time of this calendar year that all of you have had the opportunity to be here. So, well, that means that, if you do a good job, that's why we ask you to come back, right?
Hooray.
So, again, we're talking about Giving Tuesday. It's going to be occurring on December 2nd of this year. So, Tracy, what's the skinny on Giving Tuesday? What do we have to prepare for and look forward to?
The skinny. So Giving Tuesday, I think most people know what it is anymore. It's a global generosity movement. It started in 2012, and it's really grown alongside, I think, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday, with the idea of, after all that shopping, for everybody to just do an act of kindness, to do something good, and really just contribute toward building the world that we all want to live in. So Giving Tuesday is always the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, and so this year it's on December 2nd, and it's a 24-hour raise. This year we are supporting the PNW Campus Food Pantry, which is very timely right now and near and dear to our hearts, with a goal of $5,000 on our Giving Tuesday.
Excellent. And like I said, even during the first segment, I'd love to be able to shout out website URLs whenever we can. So pnw.edu/giving-Tuesday. Yep. That is a website resource that you are welcome to visit if you want to be able to start doing some background information about how PNW will be celebrating and rallying around that particular day. And so, Tracy, between you and a number of our other colleagues in institutional advancement, you're spreading the good word about the university. You're sharing the great aspects about our student population to our alumni, our supporters, our internal audiences. What do you like to be able to tell them about the importance of considering giving back in support of our students?
Yeah. So our students, if you remember back to when you were a student, there's a lot of things that you are adjusting and learning. You are trying to figure out your classes. You're also balancing some work with it. You're trying to pay for your tuition. You might be taking care of family. There's just so many things that you're learning all at once. And part of giving to PNW is helping to remove some of those barriers so that our students have the opportunity to do what they should be doing. That's learning and growing and, moving toward achieving what their dreams are, because our students are leaders of tomorrow, and that's part of helping to create the community again that we all want to live in, and investing in the students and helping to give them a hand up.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for being able to share a little bit about that background. So, again, to review, as you said, the PNW Food Pantry is one of the highlighted areas of support for Giving Tuesday that we're looking at. So I'm going to turn over to our Food Pantry Committee president here for a sec. Molly, tell us about what the PNW Food Pantry helps provide for our students.
So our PNW Food Pantry, we're on the third floor of SULB. It's right near Honors College. And one of the things, we provide students with food once per month. So they can come in, they can get as much food as they need, and then they can go about their day. And we try our best to create a very welcoming environment for them so that when they are in, they can get what they need and they can feel supported in whatever they may be grabbing.
Absolutely. And so tell us a little bit about that. So if there is a student who is feeling like they have a need and they want to be able to gather groceries, gather food for a meal, what does that process look like? We talked a little bit earlier this week that sometimes when you're working with the food pantry, you will be there to help welcome in students if they have any questions or they're curious to be able to learn more. So walk us through a little bit what that looks like.
So a lot of times I'll hear students chatting in the hallway and they'll be like, I don't know if I can go in there. I don't know what it is. There's just a lot of food in there. And I'm like, hey, come in here real quick, just for a second. And basically they just have to scan a QR code and answer some questions, and then they can take whatever food they need based off of the list that we have. And then they grab their stuff and then they go on about their day, and I try to just talk to them, let them know, and kind of try and break down a little bit of the barrier or fear that they may have.
Mm-hmm. And as a leader with the Food Pantry Committee, and obviously Sal also helps serve as a staff advisor for that, how does the Food Pantry operate with gathering groceries, helping distribute them, gathering funds together? Just give us a little bit of some context as well for that.
Yeah, so we're very much donation-based pantry. We have food boxes outside if people just want to donate food to us. We only accept non-perishables right now. We can't accept any fresh food, but we do fresh food giveaways like the one that we had earlier this week. And basically that's just a means of getting together with where we get the food, getting the food to campus, getting volunteers to help bag all the food up, stuff like that for the fresh food giveaways. And then in the pantry day to day, we need just people helping date stuff, sorting things, just making sure everything kind of makes sense in there.
Got it. And so Molly and Sal, for both of you, since you're kind of the boots on the ground here in seeing and helping this particular issue of food insecurity, tell us a little bit about why that's important to be able to address for college-age populations, because this is something that is impacting not just Purdue Northwest, but around our country.
Right. So I think that just anywhere a food pantry on a college campus is going to help impact students' grades. Students that are well-fed are going to do better in school. It also impacts their mental health. Fed students are happy students, right? If you're hungry, you're probably not going to do so well on some upcoming exams or homework assignments. You're worried about where your next meal might be. And then financially, we're trying to help some of those students that maybe don't have that extra money for a lunch or a dinner. We can help supplement that with our pantry. So we have tons of non-perishable food items within our pantry: pasta, rice, cereal, that students can take on that give or take monthly basis, which is really, really helpful to PNW students. We want to make sure we're a part of that goal. We want students to graduate. We want students to have a career after their time at PNW, and that's where we see ourselves in that process, just keeping students fed, happy, able to focus on what they're really here for, and that's that primary education piece.
Absolutely. And so, this circles back around to some of the great comments that Tracy had to start, where at Purdue Northwest, we're focused on supporting the student experience in multiple ways. Certainly, of course, there's that academic component, but we understand that there's a lot of needs that students have. And when we have these opportunities like Giving Tuesday, Day of Giving coming up in the spring, and really any time of the year that we want to be able to support students, we want to be able to meet them where they are and see what are the different challenges that are impacting their experience and be able to help provide a solution as best as we can. And so that's where Food Pantry is going to be one of those great ways that you can help do that for our students coming up on Giving Tuesday. So shifting gears a little bit here, looking ahead to December 2nd, what all does one have to do to be able to support our students? Tracy, I'll let you take it away.
It's very easy. Simply go to our website, pnw.edu. You can go to our website on Giving Tuesday, and there will be banners there for you to be able to easily click, or you can go to pnw.edu/giving-tuesday, and that'll take you to a page where you can make a gift. $25 does feed a student for a week, to give you some perspective, and our goal this year for Giving Tuesday is $5,000, and that is to help us to keep up with the need and the demand of the students. We serve about 150 students a month, so it is, and that continues to grow, so that it is important. And any gift of any size makes a big impact, so an individual can make an impact here.
Absolutely. Yeah. And thank you for being able to provide a little bit about that information. And I, of course, wanted to be able to tee it up as well for our Food Pantry Committee supporters that yes, there is a regular interval of students that do take advantage of the Food Pantry that do have that need. And really exactly to your point, that gift is able to be stretched out in several ways that can help our student population. So just for example, Tracy, like you noted that, like that $25 that can go for like a week, for example. As the committee is deciding on, the budget needs and how you want to be able to spread out, if you take like $20 or $25, what does that look like for the types of goods that you're able to acquire, for example?
So, I was looking into this last night for what we could get for different things. And basically, on our take sheet, we have a lot of, basics of, pasta, sauce, peanut butter jelly, rice, cereal, all that stuff. We could get almost our entire list of items for about $10. So, that, helps out greatly. So then, if you do the 25, you're feeding 2.5 students a month. So, that could also really, work out. And that's
Absolutely.
a really good thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just thinking about costs of rice. 1 cup of rice is a pretty big impact for our students. That one's a very popular good. Just 1 jar of peanut butter, 1 jar of jelly. That's huge. So
I think it's neat too. The Food Pantry also has hygiene products as well, so it can help support students in a couple of different ways, and those are expensive.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for being able to for pointing that out as well, Tracy. One of the other aspects that we talked about prior to the show is that the Food Pantry is a very sustainable solution for students. So tell us a little bit about that with the types of goods that you help position for students.
Absolutely. Like Molly was saying, our pantry is largely non-perishable food items that maybe someone else has purchased and has donated to us, in part with some other food items as well from the Northwest Indiana Food Bank. We have a group of volunteers who can kind of really look and check the condition of those items and make sure that they're safe to eat. And so those food items just don't go to waste. We want to make sure we're curbing any food that would be going to landfill. We want to make sure that instead that gets to our students and helps us again with that ultimate goal, getting students to graduate. We do get a lot of our food, pallets and pallets of food from the Northwest Indiana Food Bank as well. And so that's been a really great initiative for us, working with some of our campus partners to be able to go to Maryville and bring some of that food back as well.
Got it. Thank you for being able to share that information. So looking again at some of the larger or overarching outcomes here, Molly and Sal, as we were talking a little earlier this week, I remember that you noted that helping address food insecurity on campus helps in turn address stigmas around that. So whether it's when you're organizing with the food pantry committee, talking with other students on campus, or talking with community members, what important messages do you like to share with them about why it's important to just face these challenges head on and help others in doing so?
I feel like it's just kind of like it is a stigma around food pantries, and I feel like whenever I hear people like being nervous about it or anything like that, I'm like, hey, I use it. I love our PNW food pantry. I use it once per month just like all the other students that come in there. Like, there is nothing, I feel like people think that they don't like deserve it or enough, or they think that they can still make it work without it. And it's like, sure, you might still be able to make it work without it, but you shouldn't be struggling that hard just to use a resource that's free for all PNW students to use. Like, it is an important thing, and you should be utilizing it. We should have more than the 150 students that we get per month. Like, we should be able to be serving more students in this because we know that the need is there.
Yeah. Sal, how about for you? What do you like to be able to tell students and educate them on? Yeah,
really echoing that message. I mean, everybody's got to eat, right? And there's free food on campus in the pantry. You do have to take it home and kind of cook it yourself. It's not like there's free pizza in CLO, the first floor, but that's huge. That's several meals that you didn't have to pay for. Your community is there for you in this aspect, and we want to make sure we're getting you what you need.
Absolutely.
I actually think Sal touched on something really important, is the idea of community, because not only are we getting food, to satiate, because that is an essential need of your day-to-day life, but just the feeling that you're not alone and that you have support and somebody believes in you, that can go a long ways in helping, again, a student to keep moving forward. So I think that community is really important, is kind of a key part of what our pantry is helping to provide as well.
Exactly. Yes. And I will say it till I'm blue in the face. That community feeling is what you are going to have at Purdue Northwest. Whatever background that you come from, we are going to be committed to meeting you where you are and helping you overcome the challenges that you may be experiencing in whatever capacity that we can. Absolutely.
Yep.
So while we have a few more minutes before we close out for this segment, how about let's just go ahead and go down the line here, and tell us a little bit about what is it that's centrally important to you, and what motivates you to be able to give in support of PNW students. You can think back on, in your capacity here with the current roles that you have, or even like Sal from, back when you were a student as well and a student athlete. What is it that drives you to want to give back to our students and encourage others to do so?
Absolutely.
Start with you.
So I think thinking back to when I was a student, this is a resource I definitely would have been more than happy to use. I I think about it all the time, about how much of a game changer the food pantry would have been for me back when I was living in housing. And so when we have a food pantry meeting, or when we're doing an event for the food pantry, or planning a food drive, that's what's in my head, is that this is a game changer. This is a really awesome resource that we get to be a part of and provide to PNW students. I think one of the coolest things about the pantry is that there's just so much PNW community support. There's so many faculty and staff, administration, and other students that are more than happy to help other people in their community and give to the pantry in several ways. And so being a part of that ultimate mission to feeding PNW students, making sure students graduate, there's no place I'd rather be.
Very well said. Molly, how about for you?
Yeah, I agree. It really is interesting to see like all of the community around it, and like all the time I'll be like in the pantry doing stuff, and like a staff member will just be like, "Here, I have bags of things," and just drop it. And that's like amazing to see how willing they're all like able to just like support when they can. And also like, yeah, I just love being a part of the food pantry and being able to see it grow from when I first started just like 3 years ago to now, and like where we're at. And like we have people like working in there, and we're getting more students, and we're able to help more people. And it's just amazing to be able to like help them and get students fed, because that's just such a basic, like, you need to eat food, and being able to help with that is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I am aware that 44% of our students are at PNW right now with the help of a Pell Grant, which just helps to illustrate that there's a lot of our students that are walking onto campus every day with a lot of things that they're trying to overcome to be able to be there. And so I'm really passionate about doing anything we can to help students overcome that, because higher education is just such a gift. To have that time to be able to learn and to grow, and to be able to give you choice in what you want your life to look like moving forward. It's something that nobody can ever take away from you, that you will have forever. And that to be able to have that experience, I feel that everybody should be able to have that experience. So I'm super passionate about giving that opportunity to anybody who is looking for that, wants that path. That's what motivates me. But then also just the feel of it feels good to give, and it feels good to help others, particularly in something that I've been passionate about, to help others to be able to have that same experience. So that's why I will be at pnw.edu /Giving-Tuesday on December 2nd.
Exactly. And yes, just to go ahead and round out this segment, just a review of our resources to be able to best use on the day of, just like Tracy noted, pnw.edu /Giving-Tuesday. That's the direct web page. But even if you just go to our homepage, there will be a message up top that you can just go ahead and select that, and it'll get you to your destination all the same. And like we were emphasizing, or even just to borrow Leslie Plezak, our Sinai Forum Director's words, no gift is too small, but no gift is also too large. But really, if there is any amount that you are willing to be able to give in support of our PNW students, as our cast members have emphasized, even something like $10, $15, $20, that goes a very long way to being able to help 1 to 2 students. And when you add all of that collectively together for the outpouring of support that we are encouraging and hoping to see on Giving Tuesday, it's going to be a fantastic outcome. And so we would love to be able to have you to join us in being a part of that and supporting PNW students in that capacity. So with that, that's going to close out our November 13th PNW Today program. Again, a big thank you to Tracy, Molly, and Sal for coming to talk about all things Giving Tuesday and the PNW Food Pantry. Again, and please feel free to visit our website if you want to learn more about the Food Pantry. Again, it's a really great and important resource that helps our students who are facing food insecurity at Purdue Northwest. So with that, thank you very much for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you for the next PNW Today program in early December. Until then, take care and have a great holidays for Thanksgiving coming up.
You've been listening to PNW Today podcast. Thank you for listening.